96.7 KCAL rocks. It is Monday and time for some sports with our guy because some sports went down this weekend. Let's talk to Pat. What's going on, Pat?
Hey, good morning, guys. You know, the true barometer of what's going on out there in the world of sports is social media, of course, right? So I get on Twitter on Saturday night, and UFC 261 is just popping off. And 40, I know you're fight guy, but man, I got on Twitter, and I was seeing drama, I was seeing knockouts, I was seeing broken legs. I think I saw, like, everything, dude. Everybody was talking about UFC 261.
That's the thing. I mean, I was kind of thinking back to it, and it really, there's kind of like 6 highlights of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, first off, packed house in Florida was electric.
It felt good. You feel the crowd energy even on the pay-per-view.
A big part of that, too, was Jake Paul was in attendance and had a little dust-up with Daniel Cormier, former UFC fighter, and it might look like he might try to fight him.
Jake Paul, those guys are just making money.
Pep talked about the broken leg, Chris Weidman's broken leg. Brutal. And then the ironic thing was that Chris Weidman is the one who Anderson Silva broke his leg on in the exact same way.
Right. If you haven't seen it out there, fasten your seatbelts. If you're squeamish, don't see it.
Thug Rose had a killer head kick knockout. And then Usman just put Masvidal down with one of the most brutal punches I've seen ever.
Pat, 40 and I were talking about this. I mean, the utter left turn, stunning ability that the UFC has, and it does over and over again. I mean, we know Masvidal is one bad mother effer, and to see him get dropped like that is so stunning. It's hard to compare any other sport to it.
And you know what really builds into it is the fact that Masvidal was like, you know, toying with him. Remember, he was smiling and like messing with him, and then like 10 seconds later, dude gets knocked out. So you know what I mean? Like, listen, there's nothing else like it, and it was crazy. And I feel like all those different fights on Saturday night all had a little bit something different going into those knockouts. And again, like the broken bones and the smiling and messing with each other, like. Man, there's a little bit of something for everybody, but that broken bone is nasty if you have not seen it yet.
Even the fight that we didn't talk about, the Valentina Shevchenko, like she is now like probably the second most dominant woman in the UFC. The only problem is Amanda Nunes is above her, and that's the only like 2 losses she's had in the past like 7 years is to her. Like, and those were like 17 and 16, so a little bit further back. We might get a really good match between those two one day.
So some good UFC this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And again, if you get on social media, you're going to hear about it because that's your barometer of what people are talking about out there in the sports world. Now, the other big thing that everyone was talking about, it wasn't inside the octagon, but it seemed like a fight. Padres and Dodgers, 4 games. San Diego ends up taking 3 out of 4 against the Dodgers. And Fernando Tatis Jr., again, kind of like these UFC fighters. If you're not watching this guy, you should be watching this guy because he hit 5 home runs over the course of 3 games to really power the Padres past LA.
5 home runs. That's freaking impressive.
Speaking of social media followings, did I see my man Ohtani hit a bomb?
Showtime.
Yeah. Hey, 40, here's a crazy stat about Shohei Ohtani. So Fernando Tatis Jr. has 7 home runs, which ties for the major league lead. But Shohei Ohtani also has 7 home runs, which is also tied for the major league lead. And it's been almost 100 years since we've had a player lead baseball in home runs and also start a major league game. Do you guys know who the last person to do that was 100 years ago?
I mean, I clearly know, but I'll let Patrick know.
I would say it's Babe Ruth.
Yeah, dude, guys, Babe Ruth, man. No one has done this since Babe Ruth, what Shohei Ohtani is doing right now.
The greatest of all time.
That's what I'm saying. The chosen one.
Yes.
Yeah, so he has 7 home runs, leads Major League Baseball, at least, tied co-leader, but he's going to start today against the Texas Rangers. So this guy is getting it done on the mound. He's getting it done at the plate. And again, we've talked about not just getting it done, but elite, one of the best at both of those.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Move over, Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, who thought we'd ever say that, right? Like Mike Trout might be the second best player on the team. And I'm not saying that because Mike Trout.
Nobody else is saying that other than me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one saying that.
Mike Trout's still best player in baseball, so don't at me on Twitter if you're a social media guy out there. But yeah, there's reasons to watch the Angels and, of course, reasons to watch the Dodgers, who still have the best record in baseball. But this rivalry with the Padres is heating up. And don't sleep on San Francisco. The Giants quietly have one of the best records in baseball and are right behind the Dodgers. So that National League West race is going to be a lot of fun as we make our way through the season.
Yes, and one more baseball note. Did you see that Madison Baumgartner pitched a no-hitter, but it was only a 7-inning game because of it's a COVID year.
Yes.
Remember? So he pitched a complete game. According to the rules, he started and finished a complete game, but it will not be counted as a no-hitter, and there's a lot of people who feel like he should get it.
Yeah, that's a weird, funky rule. He pitched 7 innings, did not give up a hit. So my brain is really grinding trying to figure that one out and being like, that's a no-hitter. Like 7 innings, no hits. That's a no-hitter. I don't care if it's 7 or 9 innings, it's no-hitter.
But this is probably what 40 hates about baseball.
Yeah, what do the purists think? That's what I want to know. What do the purists think?
The purists are like, he did not do it for 9 innings. It's not a no-hitter.
Well, it's probably some huge number of pitchers who went 7 hitless innings and gave up a no-hitter in the 8th or 9th. So I get that argument.
Right. Because then what do? They say is if you give him this no-hitter, then all those guys who went 8 hitless innings, do you give them a no-hitter? It's a can of worms for you.
I mean, maybe just get a sport where a guy finishes the game he starts anyway.
That could be true.
Hey, and on one quick other baseball note, guys, it wasn't a no-hitter, but it was still pretty good. 7 shutout innings for our guy Taijuan Walker, the pride of Yucaipa High School, getting his first win with the New York Mets, blanking the Washington Nationals yesterday, 7-zip. First win for Taijuan Walker from Yucaipa High School, so that was pretty cool.
Local tie, I love it.
The Metropolitans.
Yes.
The Amazings. And finally, guys, to the NFL, we got the draft coming up on Thursday, first round at least, and we're going to see how many quarterbacks are going to go in this first round. But I also want to say that the NFL has announced that coming up on May 12th is the date they will release their complete schedule for the upcoming season. And it's worth noting that, remember last year, Tampa Bay was the first team, to win the Super Bowl in their home stadium. And this year, the Super Bowl, this season, will be at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So maybe the new trend is that home team gets, somehow some, destiny is on their side to get to the Super Bowl. Maybe it'll be the Rams or Chargers. I don't know.
Should we start plotting out now how we're going to endanger the Super Bowl trophy here in LA?
Yeah, look out.
Like throw it across freeway traffic or something?
Yeah. Now, Pep, with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Pep, with the NFL draft coming up, it seems like everything's kind of hinging on the 49ers pick at number 3 because everyone's dying to know who are they going to pick, and then pretty much everything else is going to kind of fall in the mayhem behind it. Is that what you're hearing too?
Exactly. The 49ers at 3 is kind of the linchpin for everything because they've got probably 3 different quarterbacks on their radar, and we've heard all 3 of those names popping up as the front runner. But we really don't know until they select on Thursday night. Those other teams behind the 49ers at 4 and 5 and 6 are going to be scrambling, being like, okay, Trey Lance is off the board, or Justin Fields is off the board, or Zach Wilson, whoever that guy is gone. It's going to have a domino effect for that rest of that first round. It's going to be fun.
One thing we know for sure, mock drafts will be aplenty this week.
Yes, they will. And the best thing is we will talk to our guy, Pep, right before the draft on your Thursday morning. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Oh, yeah. We'll have the latest on Thursday. It's Inland Sports. Check us out on social media. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We'll have coverage of the new CBU athletic director. His name is Tyler Mariucci. Might ring a bell. The son of NFL great Steve Mariucci. So make sure you follow Inland Sports.
Uncle Mooch, I love it. Thanks, Pat.